Well, the content of today's video, we need to go far and wide. So I'm calling on you to help me spread this video as far as we possibly can. One of the ways you can do that is to like and subscribe. You already know that drill. Many of you have already subscribed. Thank you very much. But like this particular video, subscribe. Those things tell YouTube that this is an important video and that they'll give it more visibility. The other thing you can do is comment. Great comments. I'm so enjoying the comments. But the more people that comment, that's another signal to YouTube to promote the video. So as much of that as you can do, this specific video in particular, because I think you're going to see this is really an important issue and one that needs to really get out there. So the other way you can do it is with social media. Right down at the bottom underneath this video, you'll see where it says share, and you can just click on that. You can share to LinkedIn, to Facebook, to Twitter, wherever you're active, just share it there. If you are on Twitter, if you're not following me, please do follow me. And then that's at twitter.com /Randy W. Kirk 1. And then follow me there, and then retweet this particular video when I put it up on Twitter. Just retweet it or put it up yourself. Do both. Anyway, those are some of the ways you can get this thing spread out there. But this is an important video. So what we want to talk about today is Tesla is not at war with the other BEV makers. They're not interested, concerned, anxious about the other manufacturers of pure plug-in electric vehicles, battery-powered electric vehicles. Yeah, we'd like to get rid of the hybrids, but we need all of the makers of BEVs to do well, not just some of them. Elon says it over and over again. He congratulates Ford, for the Lightning. He talks about how good some of the other cars are, and we want to encourage all the EV makers to do well. The war is with ICE. The folks we're trying to destroy are ICE cars and internal combustion engine cars. That's where the disruption is taking place. That is the market share we want to gain. Don't care what our market share is anywhere in the world with regard to BEV. It's fun. It's exciting. I'm so competitive. If you knew how competitive I was, you would go, oh my gosh, Randy, you're crazy to be that competitive. But, I've owned companies my whole life. I was athletic. I'm very competitive. But this is you have to decide who is the competitor. And right now, the competitor is not other BEVs. Now, hey, in 2028, 2029, 2030, there may come a time when the other BEV makers will be the competitor, where we'll be fighting for market share of the total automotive industry, but the total automotive industry is electric vehicles. I think Tesla will still be way ahead at that time. I think they'll continue to innovate. They'll continue to come up with new ideas and new designs and new models and new categories and new distribution schemes and new ways to promote and motivate. I think they'll do all those things very well because it's Elon and he's hiring people that are very, very good at these kinds of things. So I'm not terribly concerned that there will ever be an issue with regard to competition. But right now, we need to focus on the right competition. Now, why do I bring this up right now? Well, I'm bringing it up right now because everybody is so focused. There's such a focus on Twitter and among YouTubers on this crisis that we're approaching in 2023 because we're heading into a recession. It might even be a really deep recession. Elon Musk even thinks it might be a deep recession. I'm going to do another video on how messed up the Fed is. And then I'm going to do another video about Kathy Wood and what she had to say yesterday in her monthly report, because we do need to get the message to the Fed that there's nothing wise about what's going on right now with regard to the way the Fed's acting. So that's a whole nother issue. So maybe we will go into a deep recession. In a deep recession in the United States, the typical car sales drop from the 14 to 17 million range as low as possibly 10 million cars. But that's still 10 million cars. In 2023, the United States will undoubtedly, the folks who live in the United States will buy 10 million cars. Tesla maximum next year in the United States will build 1.1 million. That's maximum. 700,000 would be tops at Fremont, and some of those will be exported. Some of the S's and X's will be exported to Europe. They'll be exported all over the world. So that's 700,000 will be tops in Fremont. 350,000 will be tops in Texas. So there's a 1,050,000, and then 25,000 trucks and cyber trucks, 25,000 semis. Those are all max. That's my ideal case. If all those things happen to be fantastic, it won't be any more than that, I assure you. So we only need to sell out of 10 million. We only need to sell 1,100,000, and honestly, it's probably more like 1 million or 950,000. So it's 10% market share. 10% market share of the total US market for cars is all Tesla has to do next year. Moreover, it's only probably roughly 300,000 more than this year. So yes, we have to maintain the sales in a down year. We have to maintain the 600,000 that we sold last year. And then we have to add to that another 300,000. So that does sound like a big get. That sounds like that could be hard. That's why I've been doing all these videos on the marketing approaches that might help us get there. And one of those marketing approaches obviously would be to lower costs. That's a marketing approach. And in some cases that might be appropriate, especially if the cost of goods has gone down, and Elon will definitely want to take advantage. If he's making them cheaper and he can sell them cheaper, you know he's going to do that. That's part of his entire mission. So we know that's going to happen. But we have this little minor marketing help next year, the $7,500 in the IRA. And that is going to help sell electric cars only. And so basically, except for maybe another 300,000 from a myriad of other players, so the $7,500 is going to help almost all of those million cars get sold. Tesla's cars, by and large, that's all it's going to affect. So if I'm a manufacturer, and I was for 28 years, if I'm a manufacturer and all of a sudden I have a roughly 20% savings that I can offer to my customers, let's call it average car is 50,000, 20% of that, would be 10,000. So, okay, so not quite 10%, 17, 16% savings that I can offer my customers. That's going to dramatically increase the total addressable market. That's going to drive down a family with much less income is going to be able to afford the car when it's 17%, 16% less than it was the prior year. And in some cases, in the case of the Model 3, it might be 20% or more, because I think there's going to be Model 3s that Tesla will be able to sell next year for, let's say, 42,000, that now will be 35,000. So in general, we know that that's going to, it has to, it's supply and demand, it's Econ 101. If you drop the price by $7,500, the numbers are going to go up. There's just no other way to think about it. And number two, there is in the United States certainly a trend towards switching to electric vehicles. That trend is going to continue. Kathy Wood, I will tell you one story that she mentioned last night in her monthly podcast. She said that she had the opportunity to use Uber or Lyft a few times over the last few weeks over the holidays. And in 3 different cases, those individuals were driving Teslas. And the driver said, well, it's obvious, we have no downtime. We spend no time worrying about whether the car is going to go or not. It costs us far less per week to run. I've also had the same experience in the last 2 or 3, 4 Uber rides I've had. Half of them were in Teslas. So that's a massive market that's going to continue to develop in 2023, regardless of the recession, is going to be fleet sales and fleet sales in particular, let's say with Uber and Lyft, using them through Hertz and or other rental car companies that will follow Hertz's lead and get into Teslas. So we We know in the United States, the goal here is to take away market share from ICE vehicles. That's the way you want to mentally think about this. It's not just in the United States, it's all over the world, the same thing. In Europe, there's hardly an issue. In Europe, the price of the Model Y will come down so much because it's being made in Europe. It doesn't have to be shipped there. There's no duties. Tremendous change, and so the out the door cost of the Model Y in Europe will be coming down a lot. But in Europe, they're already ready to make the switch to electric vehicles, and so the mentality is exactly right, exactly what we want it to be in Europe. In China, the Chinese government's mentality is to switch everybody as fast as possible to electric vehicles, and the population is going along with that for sure. Is BYD growing faster right now in China than in the battery electric vehicle portion of the market than Tesla in China? Yes, they are. And where are they growing it? They're growing it at the less expensive vehicles. Tesla has dropped their price. I think it's probably a good move just to shock the market. I did a video on that yesterday. But in general, what we want to do is get rid of all of the ICE vehicles in China as quickly as possible, and dropping the price will certainly do that. I suspect China's going to come back with some more incentives because I think they're not going to let BYD and some of these other companies out there starve while Tesla continues just to lower the price and lower the price. So this is the message that I want people to get. Don't worry about other electric vehicles. They are not the competition. The competition is ICE vehicles. The job in 2023 and going forward is going to be to eliminate to take over, to eat up more and more ICE market share. That's the market share we need to look at. What percentage of all cars sold in the United States, in China, in other markets? Oh, by the way, just a side note here right now, I didn't realize that Taiwan was just opened. Australia and New Zealand have been open for a while, but they haven't been getting any cars. They've just started really getting any cars. Thailand was just opened. Turkey is just being opened. Some of the other big markets, Argentina, South Africa, have not been opened yet. So they're big, fairly substantial vehicle markets out there that are not even open yet. These will all be opened, I'm sure, in 2023 as they look for more ways to sell cars all over the world in a recessionary year. So recession, yes, probably, who knows? Maybe the Fed will get smart and maybe they'll have a soft landing and everything will be way better than we think. But even if it's not, we will take away share from ICE vehicles in the recession. The people that should be concerned right now are the ICE manufacturers, the Toyotas, the Hondas, go down the list. In the United States, GM, Ford, Volkswagen, Stellantis, all these companies that depend on the United States and China for the vast majority of their sales, and are primarily selling ICE vehicles, that's where you're going to see the reductions. That's where you're going to see a continuation. This is not new. It has nothing to do with the recession. For several years now, Tesla and others have been eating these people's lunch, and the numbers have been going down on ICE vehicles while the numbers on BEVs are going up. That will continue in 2023. And that's why I continue to say it's not going to be a problem to get to 2.3 million cars minimum, and probably to closer to 2.5, best case 2.65. Okay, pass this along, please. Like it, subscribe, comment, send it out on your social media. Let's get the word out to stop worrying about the other BEVs and start thinking about, wow, we're crushing ICE. Great talking to you.